I did not believe that this was real.
This one's simple. No big moments, no big plans, just time, love, and showing up where it matters most. Every trip starts the same. A couple of bags, a gate number, and the hope you packed everything but forgot nothing that matters. For Devin and Shannon, this one's not just about travel, it's about time, for each other and for their son. Seats change, the video won't load, but sometimes it's the subtle movements, the way she leans in, holds her breath, that speak louder than any scoreboard ever could. When you know her, you know the score.
Elkhart, Indiana for Rugby Nationals. We booked our flights on the wrong day.
Yeah, thanks to me.
So now we're a day late, so we had to watch the first game on the flight. My phone would not cooperate, so I couldn't watch the first flight. Shannon watched it. So we, Harriman Rugby beat Gonzaga Rugby 32 to 19.
And we play Xavier tomorrow.
Yeah, we play Xavier tomorrow, but we'll be there for that one. So yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting what's going to transpire. So we're heading our way. We had about an hour before our next flight, and then finally we'll touch down and go to our Airbnb. Be fun.
Some moments aren't meant to be shared, not because they aren't beautiful, but because they're sacred. This wasn't a vlog trip, it was a life trip. And sometimes presence means putting the camera down.
Didn't record much this weekend. Part of it because some things are just for us. Well, no, I mean, like, so, you know, a lot of times I'll try to record everything and show everything and you know, show people what goes on. But being that this was Logan's senior year, his last Rugby Nationals competition.
Yeah, we didn't want to record, we wanted to pay attention.
I'll post some photos, we want to pay attention, but didn't record much. Didn't even record to our Airbnb, didn't show any of that stuff off. Because some things are just for family. So I want to remember this as it was, and I hope you guys are doing the same thing. So enjoy the beginnings of this as us going and us leaving, and I'll show a couple of highlights. I'll get some video. I'll download it from the rugby servers and enjoy the podcast too.
Real talk, real people, and the kind of honesty you don't find on a highlight reel.
What is going on, everybody? Another podcast, another couple of emails, another couple of things happening. I'm kind of excited about these two emails I got today because I kind of did some more research on one, and then also I did research on both of them actually. But the first one is actually pretty amazing. Before we get into the email, man, I'm running behind this week. This week has been crazy. It's been a lot of stuff going on. A lot of as you guys know, if you haven't been following our vlog channel, the Youngbloods Anchored In, you need to go check it out. It is actually it's the inside scoop of what we do on a daily basis and things we do to get us to where we're going and what's happening in our lives, how our lives are literally changing. It was supposed to go change one direction that I kind of wanted to go in the most, but because life and family and things like that, it's got to go another direction because honestly, family matters more than anything else. And so we're taking care of family. So there's that. So yeah, go check out the podcast. Obviously, if you're watching the little snippet of these things, go check out the podcast. If you're not watched our vlog, go watch our vlog. We post some pretty cool stuff on there. Talk about it, some stuff. We got some pretty amazing things that we're going to be doing with the new outlet that we're going for. So that being said, it's going to be pretty amazing. Anyway, let's get into the emails. I got two emails we're going to talk about today, and the first one is honestly pretty amazing because a guy that loves music. I used to be a DJ. I did, you name it all. It was all pretty amazing. It was all good. But to sit back and see that bands do care. Bands out there are bands out there that want to do amazing things. There's bands out there that want to bring good music back and bring the real parties and the real fun stuff that I grew up with back to society versus having it all giant commercialized like they have been doing in, for years now. When you go to a concert, you're like, hey, concert ticket's $50, but then you have like $300 in fees just to go to it. It's like, why is this even worth it now? So that being said, I didn't know this happened. I didn't know this was real. I didn't know this even existed. I thought these guys were dead and gone. Of course, they're not dead and gone, but I thought they were just like, done with music, things like that. So, but let me get into it. This came from a lady in Nashville. Gotta love Nashville. Always, music stuff is always happening in Nashville. So anyway, here we go. Hey, Devin. So get this. I went to a backyard concert in East Nashville yesterday. This was actually literally yesterday. And so May 21st, just so the clarity, you can double check my information, go for it. I'll let you do that. No big deal. The All American Rejects were playing, not a cover band, not a tribute act, the actual band. It's part of it's part of this wild new tour they're doing where they're skipping arenas and bringing music back to places like backyards, farms, small town venues. They call it the house party tour. And I have to say, it might be one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. Tyler Ritter was barefoot talking with the crowd in between songs. They played all their big hits, Move Along, Dirty Little Secrets, even played some of their new stuff. Every person there was just in it. No phones, we're up the whole time, no flashy production, just energy, sweat, and real connection. It didn't feel like a concert. It felt like we got our own piece of something personal. And at the time in a time where most shows cost hundreds just to sit 300 feet from the stage, this felt rebellious in the best way. Have you seen this trend? Because if more artists start ditching the big corporate tours for backyard shows with heart, I think the music industry might finally be heading somewhere real again. Still can't believe it happened. Lindsay from Nashville. Lindsay, all I can say is I did not believe that this was real. I didn't believe. I had to go look it up. There was no way. Not only did I find the information is real, I found the owner of the banana, Savannah Bananas. He talks about it on like a TikTok. This is legit. So All American Rejects are doing a backyard tour where they're going around and they're talking. They're playing their music. They're bringing out new music. They're performing for small groups of people. They even have the website where you can go and you can basically show your backyard or whatever and say, hey, come perform here. We'll have it. We'll host you here. So these guys are cutting down the cost and they're actually bringing more money to their pockets. They're bringing good music to everybody else. It's actually, to me, it's one of the most amazing things I've ever read about. Now I'm jealous because one, we lived in Nashville and we don't live there anymore. We're going back to Tennessee, but that's still about 12 weeks away. But just to look at this at face value, to see that bands are trying to, this has got to be tied to multiple different things. One, financial. I read the article talked about how they spent $50,000 of their own money to book the bus and other things like that they needed to travel around to do it. So they're invested in their own selves. They're doing what most people need to do. They're investing in themselves to generate their own income. They're not depending upon a record label to say, hey, here, go to this venue and make yourself $1 billion. But the thing is, they make the $1 billion for the record label, and then they get paid just minute amounts of money. Now, I have a friend, the money that's involved in concerts is insane. I know, like Shannon and I, we went to a few of them, but the fees just take the fees alone. Don't even worry about the venue costs. Don't even worry about all those things. Talk about the fees alone. Take the fees that you go when you buy a concert ticket and how they're so outrageously priced. So the concert ticket, maybe say it's a $25 concert ticket. You're going to pay at least triple that just to go to the concert because you have to have the StubHub fee or even the Ticketmaster fee, all those things. It's stupid. There's too many hands in the mix. And I think these guys are like, hey, let's just make music. Let's just sing good music. And people are going to pay us. I mean, that's pretty amazing. You can't deny it. The fact that these guys are doing that is one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard of and I've never seen of. I will actually personally go buy a physical copy of their album because of this. You know, if they put out a new album and it comes out on record, I will buy the record. I'll physically buy it because I want to help contribute to their success. Because these guys, you know, they've not that they need much more success, but success is for those who want to go get it. That's amazing. The fact that they've done that. So props to you, All American Rejects. You guys are amazing. Lindsay, thank you for telling me about this. Thank you for being at the concert. That's a little bit of jealousy. Just going to say it. A little bit of jealousy. More like a lot of jealousy, but it's okay. I'll get over it. Maybe I can find where they're going to be going next and attend one of those because that is awesome. Anyway, all right, let's get into something a little bit more less fun. More people having love problems, and I created a list of 5 things. But we'll get to that. Let's get into the email. Hey Devin, I've been in a few relationships that looking back had red flags waving from the very start. But in the moment, I either missed them or made excuses. They're just passionate, I'd say, or it's not that big of a deal. But now I'm starting to realize it was a big deal. I am constantly anxious, isolated from my friends, and I've been isolated from my friends and felt like I had to walk on eggshells just to keep the peace. I guess my question is, why do we ignore red flags when they're right in front of us, and how can we actually spot them before things get toxic? Thanks, Bree in Austin. You know, relationships are hard. Bree, this is like a lot of people what they go through. Okay, relationships are hard because we have a one of the main reasons that I see is we have an ever-growing, extremely narcissistic society. Everybody wants everything to be about them. People don't want to put in the effort to make it about the other person. When you're in a relationship, it has nothing to do with you still exist and you are part of something, but you have to turn around and you have to elevate the person that you're with. You don't forget who you are, and you shouldn't ever forget who you are, but your job is to elevate and make the other person feel loved, feel respected, feel wanted. Now, all this being said, I'm going to say it. Love shouldn't feel like a constant roller coaster of anxiety. You have to put in. You should. There will be anxiety in a relationship, but it shouldn't be for the wrong reasons. If you're in a relationship and you've been married, like my wife and I've been married for years, the anxiety that we have would be more financial anxieties, or figuring out how to raise kids anxieties. That's a different thing. But a relationship, when you have two people that actually should love each other, the anxiety shouldn't be there. That anxiety should be relieved by the other person. They should be helping you release that anxiety and get rid of that anxiety because they're there to support you, to help push you to do things better, that honestly, and correct you when you're wrong. It's what it is. Can that bring some anxiety? Yes, but you have to learn to live with it and move past it. It's pretty simple. My opinion. It's pretty simple. But in an ever-growing narcissistic society where people want everything to just be about them, we're together because you deserve me, that's stupid. You got to stop that. So I made a list of 5 red flags. Top 5 red flags use as this is okay. Top 5 relationship red flags. Here we go. Number 1, or should I do it backwards? Probably should do it backwards. And doesn't matter. They're all in order. Doesn't matter. Top red flags for relationships, starting with number 1. They isolate you from your friends. Healthy partners encourage outside relationships if they want you all to themselves all the time. That's control, not love. Plain and simple. I have friends. My wife has friends. I have friends that are female. I have friends that are male. That's just how it is. Because I am who I am, I don't cheat. I know that what I've got is amazing. Again, when you marry a 10, it's a 10. Everything else is below a 10. So why would you screw up a 10 to get a 5? So there's that. But you can still have friends. You should still have friends. Now, it is hard. Now, this is a true fact. It is hard for most guys to be friends with women because they end up a lot of times getting feelings for that woman. That's a true fact. That's why you have to set up the boundaries. Okay? You just got to. It's plain and simple. But if you're with somebody, you're with somebody. But that person does not isolate you from your friends and family. That person would want you to be around your friends and family because they know if you're happy and you are being built up by your friends, by your core group, then you're going to turn around and build them up and also do the same for them. Number 2, they respect boundaries. Whether it's emotional, physical, or digital, like going through your phone, a lack of respect for your limits is a flashing red warning. This doesn't mean that you can't go through your partner's phone. Okay. If you do it with respect. But like my wife, I have a passcode on my phone. She can go through my phone anytime she wants. Just like I can go through her phone anytime I want. But do you know what? I really don't do it. And the reason I don't do it is because I trust her. The reason she doesn't do it, because she trusts me. Again, you got to have the boundaries there, and you got to have respect for the person. If the person's a cheater, you're going to see that they're going to be pushing all these different agendas. They're going to be pushing these little side tangents. They're not going to have, your best interest in mind, and you're going to see that. You're going to feel that. Number 3, they make your relationship. Number 3, they make you feel responsible for their emotions. You are near responsible for someone else's emotions, but you can help them, right? You made me feel this way is not accountability. It's manipulative. You're not responsible for someone else's emotional regulation. This is always a hard one. When you're in a relationship and you have to if you have to regulate your emotions and their emotions, you're going to go crazy. I feel the way I feel, and I'll tell Shannon, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. This is how things tend to be playing out. Then the next thing is, I need some help. That's what you got to do. But you're not responsible for their emotional well-being, but you can be there to support that. Okay. They have to figure out their emotions on their own, right? Emotions are a very tricky thing. They can get you in a lot of trouble. That's why when it comes to like kids, mama bears are always going to be mama bears, right? They're going to protect their kids no matter what. But then there comes a point when you have to pull back and say, okay, mom, come, talking to your wife, mama bear, come back here real quick. We just got to let this happen. Because no parent really wants their kids to get hurt. But mama bears will go in and take over. But you got to let their kids get hurt sometimes. Okay. And this goes in relationships too. When you're in that relationship, sometimes you got to look at the facts of what's going on. Although you may be emotional about something that's happening, that emotion can actually hurt the situation and make it worse. So sometimes you have to take your emotion, push it to the side, take the situation at hand and work through it as it is and get it done, and then let your emotions come out slowly about it. Simple and easy. Not really that simple, but it has to be done. Number 4, they consistently undermine your beliefs or dreams. If they roll their eyes every time you talk about your goals or dismiss your core values, it's not just banter, it's incompatibility. You need to be with somebody who's going to respect you, who's going to build you up, who's going to take your dream and make it help you, try to help you get to that next level. Okay? Some dreams are just dreams, and that's what it is. And the thing is, in a relationship, you understand what a dream is versus just something that you talk about, right? I'd love to go to space. That's just something I talk about. That's not a real thing, right? I'm not going to go to space. But I want to do a boat trip around the Great Loop. That is a dream. My wife supports me in that. We're going to do it, but it's all about timing. She understands that. I understand that. But that's all part of it. Dreams and beliefs should never be destroyed. If you believe in God and they don't believe in God, that's probably a big red flag right there, because people typically don't change. People typically do what will stay the same. It'll be a different flavor of what they'll stay in the same that versus actually doing what they actually say they're going to do. Because they're it's kind of like if I had an email probably a year or so ago that I answered. It was from a couple who were coming two different religious backgrounds, and they asked me if it was going to work, and I said it could work, but they have to come to some common ground. If you have no common ground, your relationship is going to be crap. That's why typically it's better to, if you're going to be in religion and marry, you need to marry someone within that same type of religion, because you have that common ground easier and you have that backing. But when it comes to your dreams and your beliefs, you should build that person up and help them achieve their goals. They're going to push you to get your goals. You're going to push them to get their goals, plain and simple. Number 5, you're anxious more than you're happy. Love shouldn't feel like a full-time job trying to stay good enough. If your relationship feels like constant anxiety, that's a sign, not a phase. Once all the honeymoon effect wears off of a relationship, if you got anxiety building up all the time, walking on eggshells, just like Bree did or does, you're not going to succeed. You can't. We are all broken people. Let that be said. Every one of us are broken in some way. It is not the responsibility for your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your whatever, to fix you. You have to fix you. They can be there and help you, but they're not there to fix you. If you think they're going to be there to fix you, your relationship will 100% fail. Now, when it comes to all this, red flags are simple. Red flags they're not there to, red flags aren't just about leaving. They're about seeing clearly. Okay. And some red flags that people say are red flags are not really red flags. They just don't understand how that fits into their relationship, right? But if what you see as a red flag is someone, a biggest red flag, if someone's pulling something away from you of who you are, that is a red flag. That is a person you shouldn't be with. Okay. Every person, you all deserve peace, not just the passion. When the passion fades, because in relationships, passion comes and goes. When that fades, the relationship should be strong enough to withstand those down moments. Pretty simple. It can be done. This is stuff that you have to look at. Again, Bree, there's no excuses for someone who treats you poorly. There's, it is a big deal. And if you're constantly in a relationship where you're anxious, you're not in a relationship. You're in jail. But that being said, you have to fix you first. So if you're not happy with yourself and you're getting a relationship, you're never going to be happy in that relationship. You can't depend upon someone else to fix you. You have to fix you. And if you're in a relationship with someone who wants you to fix them, you don't need to be in it right then. Leave. Don't be in part of that relationship. Move on. Anyway, I appreciate the emails. Guys, go check out the vlog. I appreciate it if you do that. That helps us out. It gives people an idea of what's going on in our lives and what you guys can do to be part of it, because we actually have that. You can keep emailing me. I'll keep answering your emails. It's awesome. Bree, good luck on your relationship. And Lindsay, again, I'll say it, a lot of jealousy there, because holy crap, you had a backyard, you got to go to a backyard concert with All American Rejects. That's freaking amazing. Anyway, you guys do be good. Keep being nice to each other, and we will talk to you later.
If you'd like to be part of the conversation, subscribe to the Youngbloods podcast. And if you've got a question or story, email Devin directly at summit7vine@gmail.com. We'll be here, ready to listen.